Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Obiajulo Ubu, and with me are the amazing ladies. Excellent morning, ladies.
Excellent morning.
How are you doing, Nima?
Fine. It's just good news all around.
Oh,
yes,
share.
My brother-in-law had a baby boy in the UK, and today, my secretary's news came in yesterday evening, and a tenant that just got in a property I manage at the firm. So he was saying, please, can I get this flat? My wife is due to give birth. So the good news, just all of them, just the born boys.
Like a Jesus story.
The boys are just coming up, and okay. But today is BC's Flavor's birthday.
BC.
Number one plug for ginger
and garlic and turmeric and spices.
Unadulterated. So
happy birthday, BC. My namesake.
Happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday. We've enjoyed your
all
sorts, the spices, the chin-chin,
the
all
zobo.
that good stuff. Yeah. God bless you. Thank you for being a blessing to us.
Very industrious woman.
So how are you doing, Tope?
Yeah, I'm doing very, very good. So my pastor, Samade Yemi, was on Journalist Hangout yesterday.
Yes, it was. I watched it.
Yeah, and a part of me was a little bit jealous because I'd have loved for him to be on our show that we'll get to interview him, but I've been blessed by Samade Yemi's ministry for the past 18 years. My pastor is an unusually humble person.
Sure.
Very humble. And you know when some people are very intelligent, they'll try and make things more complex so that you appreciate their intelligence. No, he
breaks
try
it
and
down.
break it down that simple English so that everybody gets it. And if you did not watch his interview on Journalist Hangout yesterday, please go on YouTube and watch it. You would understand.
So I watched it,
more about.
and I agree totally. I think the simplicity of his life. I just decided to watch it. Some topics I thought he would dodge.
He would take
them down. Especially on the tithes issue. You know that thing was catching fire.
At that point.
I watched the entire interview.
How are you doing, Mary?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just fine, thank you.
You're just fine.
Yes,
You're looking very
sometimes
good
that's
this
all
morning.
there is. We're just grateful for life. We're fine. We're healthy. We thank God.
I'm loving the look from the makeup room.
Thank you, sis.
Yeah. So today is my 15 years wedding anniversary.
What?
I am not your veteran at this table. I'm a veteran. I started early. Yeah, and I'm happy. It's been a joyful ride.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful ride. If I'm going to do this again, I'm going to do it with that young man.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm going to post a very controversial picture today because I'm on set and I had to take up a habit that I vowed I would never get. But you get the script and it comes and you have to be an actor and do it. And the fact that I didn't tell him before that it was in the script till I got on set. And after the first day shoot, I say, brother, I did this thing. He's like,
you sure say you know that thing?
You did not tell me because you know I'm not allowed you collect the script, But he took it, he understands that I enjoy the job and it gives me joy. No, I've not.
The video that I saw.
Don't worry, I'm going to post the video.
Why is she saying, how did you see video?
So my dear Obodo, I love you from the bottom of my heart.
15 years.
You have made me happy, you have made me glow, you made me shine, you allow me to go for all of my dreams. If tomorrow I say it's Gary I want to be selling, this man will support me. I love you. And we're going to do this again in the next life. I'm coming for you. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we go to the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Before we go to the newspaper reviews, we need to understand that life itself is a story, a recollection of events that shape one's journey on earth. And if you want to share parts of your story with us on Your View, to enable people share in your experience and learn valuable lessons from them, you can also get answers to troubling questions and possible solutions to any challenges you are facing. You can do this anonymously or otherwise. So please send your touching stories to us on Your View at tvccommunications.tv. Tell us your story today. Share your burning issues with us on Your View on TVC. Thank you so much. We look forward to receiving your stories. Now, let's go to the newspaper reviews. We're starting with The Nation. Senate seeks declaration of emergency on narcotics use. LP tells his federal lawmakers to reject official vehicles. Interesting. Troops kill bandits, arrest 59 kidnap robbery suspects. Diphtheria vaccine is safe, says Kano commissioner. President appoints helpsmen for ICPC NACON, PTDF. Edun, 84 million living in poverty, not acceptable to Tinubu. We will give Nigerians decent work, sustain social protection. 25,000 naira cash transfer begins. AFDB and ADF to bridge $42 billion financing gap for SMEs. Illegal exportation of gold, other solid minerals gone, says President. What stories do we have in the nation?
Okay, so I have the major headline. Wale Edun, the Minister for Finance, Minister for Finance and Economy, has said that the President finds it unacceptable that we have about 84 million Nigerians living within poverty. And so yesterday they launched the Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer, which was done by the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, the Minister for Finance and Coordinating Economy, the secretaries to the government of the Federation representing the President, and they started the disbursement for just these 3 months, 25,000 monthly to about 15 million poor households across the country. And they've provided 1.2125 trillion for that purpose. So that's the amount that they'll be giving. At the end of the 3 months, each of those 15 million households would have gotten 75,000 naira. This is, of course, according to the minister, supposed to help ease with the removal of subsidy, and all the other economic issues, pains that Nigerians are going through. He said they target 61 million vulnerable Nigerians, and it's supposed to help with the pain, of course, of the removal of subsidy. So I'm hoping that the vulnerable, which is the target,
will actually get.
If there's also a place where you can enlist some vulnerables who are not lettered, I would love to do that, because I don't like the fact that the vulnerables within my reach are always saying they don't ever get to us. So I want to know how this is done. When they did the COVID one, I remember my neighbors rushing and saying, help us now. And I did not know the website. Until now, I'm listening to all the conversations I've not heard.
How do we even trace the register?
Yes. Yeah. So if there's a local government where that is done, it would be really nice to, to enlist them. Or maybe a website, you can put a phone number, then they can do the verification and see if the person is truly within the net.
Okay.
I have the Labour Party has directed its elected members in the House of Representatives to kick against official vehicles that will be distributed to members in the coming weeks. They said this statement was made by the factional national chairman of the party, Julius Abure. He says that the members in the 10th Assembly should kick against this unnecessary wastage of resources in line with the ideology of the party, which is social justice and equal opportunity for all. We remember we even talked about this on the show last week when we
referred to the
actually
opposition.
I did, and I did refer to the ideology of the opposition party and what stance they're going to take. So he's asking them, we'll see now going forward if they would listen to him, but he's saying that this is not in keeping with the ideology, and so they should reject it.
It's also good to see different ideologies for different political parties. Go ahead.
So I was going to take the military story. The troops of Operation Safe Haven operations Hakori Damisa 4. They have this operation is coordinated between October 9th and October 16th, and the plan was to neutralize bandits, armed robbers, and they've been able to arrest 59 suspects in connection with kidnapping, armed robbery, castle rustling, railway vandalism, gun running, illegal mining, as well as they've recovered arms, ammunition, and illicit drugs. In the operation that took place on the 11th of October, they were able to neutralize a particular bandit called Seidu, aka Director, who attempted escape. He had 39 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special. He had mobile phones, and headsets, money. And they said before he was neutralized, he confessed that he bought ammunition from one Usman in Besichi. Generally, the military is giving a report of all their works. They also were active in Plateau State, recovered AK-47, active in other states within the country where there are several cases of specifically kidnapping. That's what the operation was about, to sweep the northern part of Nigeria of kidnapping.
Okay, so the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday said that the era of exporting raw gold, lithium, and other minerals is gone. I think Mariah had that story last week when he said it initially. And he said many local companies are already adjusting their business plans to the new normal, and they are urging others who have not joined the band to join them. And they said the creation of the policy of value addition to mineral resources before exportation by this administration was to halt the huge losses of recorded through the export of unprocessed mineral commodities. So for over centuries, I would say, we've been exporting just the raw crude materials, and we don't reform them, we don't refine them, we don't manufacture them. We export our cocoa, and then it just goes there. They bring the chocolates back to us, and we buy and pay huge amounts of money. Now they are saying they are going to be refining here. We're not just going to sell the raw materials, we're going to refine it here and then export so that we have more value coming to us. But I would like to have the details. Yes, we made before. I like the details of how, especially for some of these mineral resources, how it will be done, what companies are going to be set up, because refining and producing here, we also know the challenges that we have.
Clean up, you know, we have these Asians practicing in this field.
Yep.
Illegally across the country, they abuse
They are clamping them down
Chinese
already.
companies.
Yes, even across African countries, just come in and they just do these deals unchecked.
They buy the land.
Yes, they'll buy
By
land.
the villagers too.
Yes. Under this foreign exchange, foreign direct investment thing, they come and buy land and they start to explore our minerals.
That should stop.
Stopped.
Yeah. So let's move on now to the Punch. Tinubu ministers face first assessment in January. Protesters storm National Assembly, oppose EFCC chairman's confirmation. Why I want 550 million damages for compulsory retirement, XDG. Labour gives government ultimatum, 61 million Nigerians to get 1 trillion. 14 injured as 2 BRT vehicles collide in Lagos. Free Israeli hostages, France, Turkey urge Hamas. Ondo lawmakers meet Ganduje, suspend Aiyedatiwa impeachment. Many feared killed as Oyo security agents headers clash. What stories do we have in?
I have the picture story in the Punch. And so yesterday, because of course, it was a rainy Tuesday, 2 BRT buses collided along the cement bus stop on the, from inward Oshodi from Agege, trying to get the name of the road. If it's not Abeokuta Road, it's not. But they had 45, so I'm going to just use the account of the Federal Road Safety Corps Commander in Lagos, who had the detailed account of people there. He said 45 people were in the 2 buses and 14 of them were injured. Nobody was killed. Every other account was just saying, you know, an accident happened. And he said that it was due to overspeeding on the parts of both of the drivers. And, you know, they've been able to rescue everybody, taking those injured to the hospital. He also used the opportunity to urge the, you know, road users to be careful. Yesterday was a rainy day. From 3 a.m. it started in my own area, and it rained all the way, all day yesterday.
Drivers should be
and
careful.
I saw drivers in the morning on full speed, truck.
Hell.
You know, on full speed. When we were using double hazard lights and everything, somebody was still having time to overtake people.
And children are going to school in school buses, in cars, you know, we just don't have...
Sadly. And the BRC buses should even have more, you know, standards when it comes to this. This is a public standards practice for them. You should have checks.
Yes, so I found this...
So let's take a short break. When we come back, we continue the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch, and Miriam had to start.
Yes, I found this quite interesting, and I don't know how many police officers have done this before. He is a Deputy Inspector General of Police. He had been retired, and he's Moses Jitobo. He has, you know, he's asking the National Industrial Court in Abuja to declare his retirement by the Police Service Commission before his mandatory 60 years retirement age or 35 years in service as wrongful, unconstitutional, and unlawful. So he's before the court. He says that his compulsory retirement is a flagrant violation of, you know, the public service rules, and he names the section where that is in the Nigerian Police Act, and he's asking for also damages. He says that he's praying that the court to order the reinstatement, not only his reinstatement, but also he also wants 550 million naira as general damages for unwarranted embarrassment caused by the purported termination of my employment, contending that the development portrayed him as a disloyal officer. He also wants the court to compel the Police Service Commission to pay him an additional 50 million as the cost for filing the lawsuit. So his retirement, I think, happened as a result of, they have a tradition where of retiring officers when a junior police officer is promoted over senior officers to avoid status reversal. So that's why he was among those that were retired, but he's asking for damages. And
but he understands the code of conduct now. That has always been...
He has an action.
He does. The lawyer has spoken. Yeah. Let us move. Talk about your story.
Yes, so following up with the Ondo story, the deputy governor, the national chairman of APC, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has done a reconciliation meeting. The meeting took place on Tuesday between the members of the Ondo State House of Assembly as well as the Deputy Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa. And the goal is to do like a reconciliation that they should shelve the plans to impeach the Deputy Governor. The meeting took place, started from about 1 p.m. yesterday and went late into the night. They said that they had former governor of Katsina State, Minister of Marine, that's former Governor Oyetola, as well as many other high-ranking leaders within the APC. And the goal is to resolve the crisis, address the meeting, stop the probe, and make the state work. If we recollect, yesterday I took the story that the PDP youths within Ondo State are clamoring that if the governor doesn't show up, then they are going to ask him to step down. And if that happens, if they are able to pressure or take the case to court and they ask the governor to step down, Aiyedatiwa is supposed to step in as the governor, so they don't want controversy within the state.
Okay, so Organized Labour issued a 2-week deadline to governors to commence negotiations on the 35,000 naira wage award for workers in their states, in line with the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding signed by the federal government, the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress. So the state chapters of the NLC and TUC handed down the ultimatum on Tuesday, and they said they had written to the governors to fast-track the necessary protocols and implement the award meant to help, cushion the effects of removal of the subsidy. And they said the deadline for the payment of the wage award will expire in the next 2 weeks. They are asking the governors to begin implementation of the process. So some of them are saying that NLC and TUC are saying that they are hoping that this will happen before the expiration of the deadline. And it also involves the states, not just the federal government workers. So let's see what is going to happen.
I'm hoping that the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs or some other ministry would oversee all these palliatives that are being distributed to states to be sure how somebody should vet and give account of how it's being shared.
Yeah. Let's move on now to the Vanguard. Tinubu flags of cash transfer program for 15 million households. Obi won 2023 presidential poll, Babachiri Lawal. Ondo, Oshun, Akwa Ibom, Abia commit to clear arrears. Fresh trouble in Senate as Akpabi Ndume clash. South Africa may overtake Nigeria as Africa's biggest economy. Police uncover arms factory in Lagos. Tinubu nominates Musa Aliyu as ICPC chairman. Ministers will sign performance bond with Tinubu. What stories do we have in the Vanguard?
I have the fact the gun factory. So the Lagos State Police Command were able to arrest 2 gun manufacturers in the Idata village, Idata community in the Betuleki area. And this was through investigation of cultist activity. So they were able to find 2 men, they were named, I'm trying to get their names, when they arrested some members of a gang of cultists who were also shooting and fighting, of course, in that area. They said the 2 of them, Musli Ugbenga is a 21-year-old, and the Owolabi Aziz, a 22-year-old, and the 2 of them were the ones illegally manufacturing guns that they were using to carry out cultism. They arrested 30 other people suspected for cultist activities, stealing, illegal possession of firearms in that area as well. And the spokesperson for the command said, based on actionable intelligence, on a blacksmith who fabricated firearms for onward sale to criminals around the Delta village. The operatives busted the factory. I'm hoping it's not one shop where they're making but 3 single-barrel locally made pistol, 1 double-barrel locally made gun, 1 single-barrel locally made gun, 2 single-barrel locally made long gun, and 10 expended cartridges, 12 long pipes, 2 drilling machines, 1 gas cylinder, 1 vehicle, and other fabricated tools were among the items that they recovered. And other suspects, the one that pained me is the details and the ages of these young boys that were involved in the cultist activities.
God forbid that. What stories we have
I
again?
have the CBN has said that it will commence penalizing deposit money banks whose equipment distorts images and data being transmitted during check truncation process that starting November 1st, 2023. The ban says that it has come to that CBN says it has come to their notice that the MICR, which is known as the magnetic ink character recognition on checks, there've been a lot of rejections because of the equipment isn't really functioning. So they're saying that the rejects have been on the increase, and they need to reduce the number of these rejects. And so they're saying that all these banks need to contact their personalizers, reiterate the need to revalidate the MICR code line details for correctness in accordance with the NCS and NICPA's version 2.0. They said that they need to thoroughly examine their in-house check processing equipment to ensure that they are properly calibrated and supervised to eliminate distortion of image and data being transmitted during the check truncation process. And then starting 1st of November, they'll be penalized according to, their sanctions grid. So banks are listening, and these are things that they should work on.
Yes, I want to take a quick story, short story. IMF is projecting that South Africa is going to overtake as the #1, the largest economy within Africa.
They had overtaken us already.
No, they haven't actually.
They haven't.
The expectation is by 2024, because of the challenges that we have had currently with the fact that we don't have enough, our projected crude oil production has been dropping consistently. That's why the South Africa will have an edge. But South Africa is the most industrialized economy within Africa. So by offer, their own products are speaking for them, while in Nigeria's case, we're doing more of exporting raw material. But the IMF is assured that by 2026, Nigeria would come back to being #1 because of the policies that this current president is putting in place. So
I like that you added that, because I read the story too. Thank you, ladies. That's all we can take on newspaper reviews. When we come back, we move on to today's hot topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Public Service Institute, Kubwa, Abuja, is undergoing a verification process, which started on Monday, for civil servants all over Nigeria. The idea is to detect ghost workers following the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPIS, as one of its reform programs to improve the effectiveness and efficacy in the storage of personnel records. But the way they are going about it is quite shocking. People are seen to be falling over themselves, pushing pregnant women down with no regard for each other. What are your thoughts on this? So join the conversation and call us on 081-076-41679 and 0902-4163440, or tweet us at the hashtag TVCConnect on X, and Twitter and X. So I saw the video. I think it went viral, so to speak, and it just took me back to how many years ago, of how every time we have to gather for one registration or the other, there's usually this crowd of people. There's usually a lot of disorganization. Nothing is planned properly. You may even come and take your number and go back home and then come back. The crowd is usually pushing. People will get injured. People will get knocked over. and this is 2023. So I saw the video again this morning. I'm like,
What's happening?
are we still back to this? Are we still here? Ladies, please help me. What's going on?
There are even more people now said than that time. Our population is growing.
Yep.
So you expect if it's the same way before, they were scrambling because make it be me first. Now that we have about over 220-something million people, according to the data released in the papers this morning, the struggle is real. The hustle will be real. It's just so sad that this is the way we choose to do. I remember, let me use the example of NIMC, the NIN number.
Yeah.
So when they flagged it off in 2014 or 2015, much earlier, or the BVN, I just said this thing will turn to rush. When it's not crowded, I'll go and do it. So I went and one other bank, they had not synchronized the banks, and another bank now compelled that we should come and do it, and I went during the rush. So I experienced rush. It's the two, they are completely different.
Different experiences.
So you can imagine if the Public Service Commission is choosing to do this at a particular time. After these 2 weeks, if you have not done your own, if you release that kind of information that we will finish this verification within 2 weeks, you start Monday.
Put the panic.
People start, when will it reach my turn? And the madness that it will bring is the kind of thing we saw in the video where everybody is all man for himself. Everybody, I want to, we don't even have regards again. We took the Osun story on Monday where old people, our veterans, our elders were fainting.
Yes.
And government today, my father used to say, when you're in management, you think you will never join pensioners. There was one manager then in NNPC when he was at NNPC who Obasanjo later now made MD. He came back and my father used to laugh that, you were with us before they now employ you should better understand that
more than
ever what we have to go through. And so, these people must always know that this thing is coming around. We can knit it up. We can do it over a period of time. The IPPIS has been the news since Buhari's time. We can have it just working wherever your states. And number two, why do they all have to merge?
In one place.
Thank you.
Because before you finish the talk, give us the gist.
This thing is so... It's so annoying because this is 2023, and in so many ways, especially in the private sector, you can see them every year, every 6 months, constantly improving.
Upgrading.
And then the Federal Civil Service is just left behind, and this is the body that employs most Nigerians, and you are not doing anything to show that you're improving. How do you have a whole group of people like this in one place? This is a country that we're talking about, just talking about COVID, we're talking about diphtheria, we're talking about all sorts of things.
Yeah,
this is a health problem for the country, for our economy. See all the time that they are spending to be there when they should be at work. So this is supposed to be a 1 week verification. Some people say they've been there 3 days, they are not even close to the door. How are you working in a place like this? And then you see that whole crowd of people and you're sitting behind the desk and you think it's okay. You don't think, okay, come per state, like you said earlier. Everybody from this state, come this week. The next state, come this week, and then you finish it up. But above all, why should people be traveling from different parts of Nigeria to converge in Abuja? You have people from Lagos, you have people from Plateau, you have people from, from Yobe.
They'll be looking for accommodation.
Yes. Now you pay for transportation fare. Then if you don't have a place in Abuja, you have to pay for accommodation in that place. And it may take you as long as, 3 days, 5 days, 1 week. That same money you remove from the small salary that you're getting. It's the same civil servants that here we're talking about increments in wages. And yet they use the wages
for
transportation and accommodation, something that can be easily done. And so it begs the question, is somebody earning something from this chaos? Because it makes no sense to do this over and over and over again. I hope that, government is seeing what is happening, and today they can quickly do something about it. Especially, they say pregnant women are falling down because they are pushing them. There's blood because somebody has hurt themselves.
And they push her. So Teduma just cried. She backed her baby to that verification.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine that?
What are your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts have been expressed by Mariam and Nima, because really, at the end of the day, when you watch a video like this, it reflects what we've seen in Nigeria over many years in different areas. We mentioned that newspaper yesterday, I think it was newspaper yesterday, that we took the story of what happened in Osun. So Nigeria is actually very disorganized. Like, we're a bunch of very disorganized people. We don't respect process. We don't. It's everywhere. Go to the airport. The same Nigerians that will be misbehaving in on the road, misbehaving in offices, would go and queue up for visa, and they will queue up. So it's a case of being disorganized. It's a case of understanding that we thrive as a community in chaos. It's a case of what I was saying before we came on this show, that in Nigeria, the things that are not normal are being applauded as, oh, you are so good, you know how to organize in this chaos, because that is where we've lived for so long. So the truth is, a lot of Nigerian systems are not strong. We don't have structures, we don't have systems, we don't value human life, we don't respect humanity. Because if you respect your human being, your fellow human Nigerian, and you believe that this is a human being that should be treated with respect, you will not pack all of them and watch them the way they are. Somebody should have had feeling and come aside and say, please, everybody, sit down. Let's get chairs for everybody. Let's get canopies for everybody. Everybody form a queue. Organization. Order. You cannot grow without order. And as a country, we have seen the result of lack of organization. They want to shape palliative to become a stampede. Everything. What causes fuel crisis and what causes queues is that people will be jumping, overtaking. You are seeing traffic. The disorganization in one area, of course, will reflect in other areas. So if we are discussing this issue, yes, as a country, we need to understand the impact of being organized, having order, and how things will flow better. Productivity would increase. People will feel more love and more loyal to a system that respects them. It would be a different thing if there were chairs there. How do you gather people and you don't put chairs for them to sit down?
It's even beyond the fact that people are disorganized. It's that there's no infrastructure that's capable of taking all those people at once there. And you know that you cannot afford to have the number of people that you have right there.
Why are you putting them together?
Bring them, bring the number of people that you can attend
the
to.
NYC scandal, the NYC crisis that is promising them jobs, and all of them gathered at Igu Square in Abuja. That was another.
Under Jonathan.
All the time. We are always here.
So I have information that, it was scheduled. According to this person, he said 5 ministries per day were scheduled. Even that is outrageous. They said they scheduled that only 5 ministries should come per day. But even that, considering the number of
size of
people it is outrageous.
So what I
cannot understand is that if it is IPPIS, why do we have to come?
So get that.
They are finally solve data problem with IPPIS, and then you say they should come home.
Do you want me to answer that
question? So hold on. No. Before you answer the question, so what I see is, I think we always feel if things are easy, it's not worth it. It's a mentality that I've noticed, especially in our part of the world, where we like to make things difficult and stressful for no good reason. They say everywhere we must have human capital for us to develop. And I see that Nigerians are intelligent. But when I expect people who are in the helms of affairs to handle all of these things, to apply their brain, I don't get it. Because this IPPIS, you can take a very long time to keep putting people in. That's one. Secondly, that we do not have the infrastructure, like she mentioned, to bring people together. Why does everybody need to come to Abuja? In 37 states of Nigeria. No, hold on first now. Are you telling me that's the only place they have IPPIS? No. It cannot be replicated across states?
Do you want me to answer the question? Because we took stories a few months back or a few weeks back where the IPPIS, somebody in the office was imputing, somebody is collecting salary in Nigeria from the federal government without an employment letter from the federal government, because the Oga sitting down at the IPPIS computer imputed names into it, and they discovered those names, paid to impute names into it. So the reason they are doing verification for some people is because the fact that there's corruption in the system, so they can only trust one holy person. You can't solve the problem like that. See, I had a conversation with someone. I was at an event on Saturday, and the woman was saying when she got into this meeting, I can't mention her name, she got into a place, she was meant to clean up this in last administration, and that she had 27 people that were going to be working with her. And they said she should fire all of them because they were all involved. And she said, if I fire all the 27, I will simply employ from one set of thieves to new set of thieves. So I need to sell them the opportunity, the reason for loyalty, and change their ideology. She achieved it.
Yes,
from
you need to buy them in.
Getting 400 in a month, they used to do, what they were doing was bringing in 400 a month. Now they are doing 17,000. Imagine the money that was being lost when they were only reporting 400 officially, and how much was going into their pockets. The Nigerian system that we have, in trying to find the holy person, is what is causing this problem. Why is it that when you want to change your name, you have to go to Abuja.
Why
Is
Abuja
that-
for
Is
everything?
that only person?
not about only person.
Because corruption can happen in other places. We can trust this.
I
kind
don't
of
think it's
decision.
about-
When you hear them, that's what they will say.
See, this
Let's
is how I
hear
see
you.
it. It's IPPIS, it's data. You want to do biometrics and
Biocapture.
capture. These same only persons, take your time within this 1 year and travel within all these.
Yes, thank you, Nima.
But
God bless
When
you.
you
putting
come,
lives on the line.
everybody on duty, you have the list of workers. If they cannot show up within that ministry,
That
they
is
are
it.
not an employee of the ministry. You move on and you go. Then they will now bring their NLC protests about them slaying them. We will know how to handle them.
We don't have to all converge in one place
Who
to
is the
do
medical
this.
expert that is standing here to catch
I beg.
people's BP and all of that?
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll take phone calls and messages. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing the verification process that has taken most civil servants under the IPPIS to Abuja for this, verification. And we're seeing a lot of crowd and talking about how this has been happening from time immemorial and what we can do to change it. And Tope had some thoughts.
Yeah, so while I feel like the leadership of the people in charge of IPPIS could have been more humane in how they organize this, I feel there's also the part of taking responsibility as citizens, with the people part, which is that when you find yourself in a place this chaotic, somebody should rise up as a leader to bring everybody together. You might not need to have a title to lead and organize these people, but you can say, oh, everybody, this can't work. Before we injure ourselves, everybody, please just sit down. Let's organize in order of pregnant women, those that have children, sick people. Let's start grouping ourselves, and it would just involve somebody taking that leadership position, and it would have made this a lot more organized than what we captured on the video that we just watched right now. Sometimes we don't wait for the leaders. We take responsibility and become the leader without any title.
Okay, well done. Let's take this call. I'll come back to you on that. We have Hassan from Lekki. Good morning, Hassan.
Experience.
Everybody. Look, you see, we keep on doing the same thing, expecting the result. We are never serious in this country. Look, from local government to state and federal government, every day there is a case of ghost workers. And people were caught. Have you ever heard of anybody prosecuted for being a culprit? You know, a restaurant of ghost workers from the federal, state, and local government. Look, this is an enemy within. I said it all. In this country, different sickness are in there. Yellow fever, I'm calling it. Malaria fever, I'm calling it. Typhoid fever, I'm calling it. Everything they here. You see, forget all these things. The enemies are within the system, frustrating the system, and the government is not strong enough to deal with them. Look, recently something happened in Federal Character Commission, where somebody is linking people with IPPIS and even giving them employment letter. What happened to that person? In federal government before, a lot of people were caught. In state government, a lot of people were caught. Nobody ever been prosecuted. We are never serious in this country. We are not ready for anything positive. We are not ready for positive change in Nigeria. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Hassan. So I wanted to come back to what Tope said about we the people. I know that, at every point we have to learn to take responsibility, but let's call it spade a spade. If you are paid to do a job, it is your job to find the best ways to handle it. If you need ideas, get ideas. If you need consultants to advise you, get consultants. If you need to assess the situation and see how best can we do this thing so that it's seamless. The problem is we don't like anything that's seamless. We don't like anything that doesn't take sweat from people. And once we have that position where we're sitting behind the table, we become God and want to suffer people. And I have living examples to buttress this. There's nothing wrong in saying we can send auditors across the states. Like you mentioned, Every quarter, somebody is showing up unannounced. They will come, they will take register of the people working, they will over. The problem is we also don't know how to follow up. So this is more work for the people who are supposed to be in charge compared to having Nigerians suffer on the field because we are not ready to organize ourselves. So it's not. I will not go to. Hold on. I will not go to that kind of place right now and be organizing people. Which voice? My voice will go. Who am I going to shout at?
I'm a
stand here,
pregnant
stand
woman
there.
traveling from Yobe State. I've traveled through this. I've passed Boko Haram. I've passed bandits. I've passed risk of potholes and everything. I've survived. Then you come. Then I'll now come and be
organizing for you.
See, I understand that there needs to be how we should behave, but you have also deliberately created a chaotic environment. What is wrong? Would you rather have thousands and hundreds of Nigerians traveling across Nigeria to one place, or have just a few auditors, like you said, traveling to different parts of the country and sorting this thing out? Why would you want to bring Nigerians? Why do you want to put them through this sort of stress? Health stress, physical stress, mental stress, financial stress. Just to come and stand here, and then you've given them 1 week. I've also heard that for some of them, because they haven't done the verification, they haven't gotten their September salaries. Imagine. And if they are unable to do it, even with this price, they will not get their October salaries.
We should make them
what are we
desperate.
saying?
Please, let's take this call. I'll come to you, Nima. We have Maureen from Makodi. Good morning, Maureen.
Good morning, BC. Hello, good morning.
You're live, ma.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning.
See, this problem, BC, it will not stop. This problem will not stop until we as a nation begin to have accurate and proper database. Where are we going to in this country with all this nonsense? Now, do you know how much it is from somebody to travel from Makodi to Lagos presently? They're talking about 20,000 and above.
It's not 20,000.
Think of others who are far away from Abuja. Now, when we are talking about ghost workers and the likes, how do the so-called IT firms, the telecoms, how do they solve all these problems? Why can't we involve expertise?
Yes.
To solve this issue, the problem is database. Let's forget about ghost workers and the like. We don't have a database. How can somebody who has been in civil service for 15 years is going to Abuja every year for verification? There's nonsense one year now. Where are we going to? This is pathetic. And I don't prematurely suffer. I don't go to be in that kind of place. It's pathetic. And it is failure to them.
Thank you so much, Maureen.
I remember doing this with my dad, traveling to Wasimi when NNPC had to do verifications and they had to do for pensioners when he retired. I remember the drama. If somebody told me 1996 problem is still persistent today, I would have denied it. It was the norm. And even there were not so many. You know, you just want but then just to travel. He will now go drive to all his colleague pensioners' houses. You pick them one by one, one by one. When they get there, the ones who were not later do maybe the storekeepers when they retired, you will help them fill their form. They will now press print or sign. You know, those things, we can do things better. It doesn't have to be like this. And our people, those directors in this ministries, the ones behind the IPPIS and the ones within the Federal Civil Service know that they can do this thing better. There's no rocket science about it. We've done BVN. We have our NIN numbers. If people are within the service today, you cannot clean it up without this kind of crowded verification. You have been sleeping. Do you know how many biometrics we have at the NIN?
Are you telling me?
Biometrics for everybody before we can open accounts now? Are you not?
So collect your money, you do biometrics.
Each bank is doing it per account now, and you are paying these people salaries per account, and you say you cannot
trace it from the account
without a crowded verification that people will be fainting and stressing at. I know it now.
Doesn't make
the
sense.
cost of Makodi travel, when she mentioned it, Nana, my head do pakam.
Yes,
because it's not 20,000 than that. It's the whole risk of the road.
Let's take this call from Tijani. Good morning, Tijani from Ota. Oh, we lost him.
So I want to talk about, I agree with you. I find myself that when we're in a chaotic situation, we can't solve the problem by lamenting the problem. So that was why I was trying to direct us to say that if you find yourself there, you must, instead of if they want to treat you like an animal, they behave like a human being that you are. So what they've done there was they've packed all of us that we are all animals, and then we started climbing and behaving like one. We could easily have said we are not doing this. We can all protest and say we're not doing this. That's one. Number two is the leadership didn't put enough critical thinking into solving the problems they were facing.
Now,
You're facing a problem, you should think critically of what are the easiest and cheapest way to afford to solve this problem for everybody. There's the use of technology. You can open an account in the UK without seeing a bank. You can do your verification with your phone and use your face. Every phone has camera, and and all these people can have a camera or laptop in their office, so you can verify your face with your iris. Technology could have solved a lot of this problem for us. Nima just mentioned something, and she said it occurred to me that every IPPIS staff can go to their banks and partner with the banks to capture for everybody.
Thank you.
It will reduce your costs and make it easy for everybody. It's about critical thinking when it comes to problem solving, not making life hard. But if there is no consequence for making people suffer like this, we'll continue.
Yeah. So let's
as
take
long
this
as
call.
these leaders don't get punished for what they just did. If you just say, oh, query and they move on, then we'll see this happen
That's how
in
we
2
used
years'
to do
time.
it. That's how it has been done.
We have Miriam on the line.
Yeah.
Good morning, Miriam, from Apapa. She's still there.
Good morning, beautiful
morning.
ladies of YourView.
Good morning.
This thing is so close to me. I went to Abuja a few days ago. So my mom told me that she was not paid salary. So they needed to do verification. SSS. They were not paid for October. So I'm sure they're not going to pay them. They were not paid for
September.
I'm sure they're not going to pay them October. So I followed her. We walked around and all that. She said she has done this verification before. There's a stamp for me to show that she has done this verification. So she went to her director's office and, it was signed again and all that. So when she went there on Monday, when the verification exercise started, she called me and said, they told some of them to go, that since they have been verified before, they should go back. It's for those who have not been verified before, yet they've not gotten their salary. So I just called her when you started YourView to say, thank God for your life. So this is what you would have gone through. This is so heartbreaking. This is so heartbreaking. Seriously. And that day that I was in her office in Abuja, a colleague of hers was saying, they just want to capture us on TV. They just want to use us to shine and look at. This is a national disgrace.
Honestly.
It seems like leaders in this sector don't answer to anybody. If somebody in government, there's somebody they're answerable to not seeing this. In a same country, by now, somebody is called to order. By now, they would have ended this immediately before casualties are recorded. Why do you want to always ask the masses to sacrifice when the leaders do not have pen? We're talking about iPhone 15 Pro Max. The world is fast moving. Everything can be done with your phone, with a simple gadget. And these people think they will keep taking us backward. Like this is 20 years backward. This is 50 years backward. This is a shame. And these people not answerable to somebody. Can somebody not?
Thank you, Mary. I haven't finished it.
She just finished everything.
The truth is, we need, what is, as they say here, we say your KPI, at the end of the day, for the person in charge of this verification exercise, it needs to show, like, if they get reward for a seamlessly done registration exercise, or if they created chaos like that. If there are consequences for actions, there will be better outcomes. But the truth is, I honestly feel that this system is kept this way for nefarious reasons, for corrupt reasons, because it does not make any sense to do this year in, year out. People who have done verification for this year, I've heard that some of them do it nearly every year and they are called back to do it again. So what is happening to the data? Because, a lot of the earlier callers have said, oh, we need data. But the data that you collect every year, what have you done with it? Does it expire? What is happening?
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll take more calls and messages and find a solution to what we're going through. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. YourView will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still conversing on the verification process and how hectic it has become from time immemorial to present day. And, sometimes I hear government doesn't have business doing government. And I feel offended as a Nigerian because I have traveled to countries where government is actively participating in business and they're doing it effectively and efficiently. a place like Singapore, we have the government involved in housing, in transportation. The government does everything, and everything is seamless. They had to take a process to get to that point. So if we say government does not have business doing government, it's just excusing what we should grow into, what we should do to become better.
Because
and I feel bad.
no,
Hold on first. Before the abroad example, all of them went through their process. I'm just saying, this is our own process, but we should remove the mindset that governments cannot do business, because that is an excuse for us, excuse that we take not to do the things we are meant to do. So we know that definitely in government, you have the politicians, you have the technocrats, but we have to find a way to balance it so that people who come into certain positions of work will do the work and keep upgrading the work till we get to the point we are going to. We should have a goal as a country. We can't keep saying government has no business doing business and then stay where we are, because once it's something that has to do with business. Private sector, you will not find this here. Hold on. Let me quickly say what I want to say. Then also, one of the ways that we can improve our government system is reward and punishment, just the way we have in private sectors. People need to be in ministries and compete with each other. There's no competition. The way government work is being done is, after all, it's government. Nobody can query me. No, I've never heard they really sacked somebody for doing something, or they did this and do that. See the one that they locked, the minister went, locked them out for coming late, and they locked the minister back in the effrontery. The effrontery. Nothing happened till today. So we need to improve if we're serious about growing the country, and we need to put in place reward and punishment. There should be competition amongst ministries. This ministry is doing well. This ministry is collecting award. That ministry is trying to do better so that they can get that. That's my point, Nima.
People make up ministries. People make up workforce. People make up with criminal mindsets, corrupt these workforces, and so we do verifications to clean things up. That's why they got here in the first place. And those criminal-minded people are also part of this crowd, trying to stress the process, frustrate it so they botch it somehow, and, you know, just put it aside. So we must admit that the people in Singapore learn to conform. It's the people here we are dealing with. We are not easy people.
You said what?
We are not easy people. It's the people here.
They punished them to get to that point. So they were not easy too.
There are people now have been made to conform. Every system to neat things up here is corruption. We fight it back.
Yes.
It's not easier here. Some people
are more difficult people.
So when you compare the abroad, compare the people to the people you're dealing with.
I disagree with you on that.
Compare the people.
No, I disagree with you.
This IPPIS itself, the first process he brought in, the strike was an entire term. Nigerians fought back at that system, even especially within the university system, saying, use our own for us. You know, we don't easily conform.
Let me pause you, Nima.
You must be on your toes.
And take this call. We have Taiwo from Egbeda. Good morning, Taiwo.
Morning.
Good morning. You're live.
I really appreciate your effort. Miriam, everybody, I appreciate your effort in progressing the country. First and foremost, please, I just want you to, in case somebody wants to join your line, help us to always post the phone number on the screen so that if somebody might join it, they might be interested in joining the program. That is one. Then two, we need a technocrat, like what you have been saying. But because of the fact that we don't want to do the needful, the government should do something over that. But even though once you are not performing your responsibility, that person should be sacked, whether it's farm tech or the head of the department. Why should you be calling 17,000 people from Abuja? Some people might be in Lagos, coming to Abuja, only one sector. It's very ridiculous. And this is a sign of, even though insulting the government or insulting the country, or even though paralyzing the efforts of all what the president has been doing. This is a capital to us. Please, we need something. We need to change our mentality and orientation. They know what's supposed to be done, but they refuse to do it. And the most important is for them to sack them and let somebody that is.
Thank you.
Can I go on and take some tweets?
Yes, go on.
So
I was going to say, you know, you were talking about maybe the Nigerian people are just a different
Difficult.
breed of human beings out of this world.
Well, we go
I
abroad
don't-
and we are excelling.
Yes,
We
but we are the
conform.
same. So I don't think it's because of that Nigerians are
The
any different
environment.
from human beings across the world. I just think that we don't have a system that corrects and reward effectively. And people, when they know that if they are sure that if they behave a certain way, this is the consequence of that behavior, they'll quickly conform. But then you mete out consequences for a group of people, you don't do that for another group, so you're confusing. So that's where corruption thrives. It's thriving because we don't have a system that no one is above. And I don't think that
Why don't we
Nigerians
have
are
that system? We are the ones to create it.
but everywhere in the
there's a
no,
thing.
no,
around this thing.
Nima. It's everywhere in the world.
Miriam,
Every
they have to
other
fight.
country where
Mindsets
you see
change
people sit down.
corruption to
See,
stop.
everywhere
Mindsets
where
must
you see
change.
people are behaving well, when you hear the history,
Systems.
you would hear you hear the very harsh consequences of some behaviors. In China, if they catch you for corruption, they kill you
Immediately, that's how they got there, and I
They
wanted to
shame you
get there.
publicly.
Some
They kill
countries,
you.
the people loved the land so much, they built it and they created the systems. They didn't have to die all of this. And there are countries like that in the history.
But let's take this
But
call.
how much are we willing to drop?
Let's take this
Is
call.
it my turn
Tijani
that I will
from
sacrifice?
Songo. Good morning, Tijani.
Let's pass it to the next
Hello,
generation.
Mr. Kilani.
Kilani.
Kilani. Sorry about that.
God will bless all of you.
Amen.
We are really working. Madam Raj, you know this. We have problems with institutions in Nigeria. You understand? I think there is a law that when you do this is the consequence. When you do this, that is the consequence. That is why I just know what they like. You understand, ma? Please, you people should. In fact, what you are doing now is one of the platforms to change this situation, kind of situations. So you people should push more. So that people will know that what they are doing is wrong. You understand? So, because in this country, people go out, they go to countries, and they see what they do, and they come back to this country again to misbehave. You understand? These people that you see there, many of them, in fact, they went through a lot, but I have people among them there. So please, if we are really trying, I thank God for this platform. Continue to push.
Thank you, sir.
So let's take
Nigerians are smart.
Intelligent people.
Nigerians are extremely intelligent. Nigerians are very organized. And even the ministries, if you speak to the permanent secretaries of these ministries, you speak to directors in these ministries, they are very, very brilliant minds. Like, you'll be wondering, you mean you work in this place?
Why have we not?
So why are we not
change?
seeing the results? So there's a disconnect. And I think that we've all said it over and over again. It is the reward and consequences system. You're not in the ministry to mark register that you have showed up. They get international trainings, guys. They get paid for international training. So they get exposed to the best of the best in the world. So it's a case of when you have gotten all these trainings, come back and implement it.
Let it reflect in how you do these things. Let it reflect. So, we're rounding up this because we have to move on to the next topic. Okay, take some messages.
Okay. Okay, let me take this one. Danny Ofini says, the verification process is intentionally done that way just so that it would be manipulated. I'm sure someone there will start collecting fee for premium treatment, backstage speed up access.
VIP.
He says she complained about having to do your character assessment at only Alagbon, but because it's an international thing, it has to be at a particular place. But then she said, even driver's license, the capturing takes several weeks. One document needs approval from Abuja. All these documents can be handled at local government level. Why must every documentation go through unnecessary bureaucracy before approval?
More messages? Do we have more
Yes,
messages?
somebody says, good morning, ladies. Let them go to NNPC and ask how they do it. We are more than 8,000 retirees. Verification is done every year, and you do it from your house with your phone or video call.
That's what we're talking about.
That's critical.
Help us talk to them.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
that's
somebody
what
says, when a country is too corrupt, you get Nigeria. Simple things become a challenge. People can't think right, neither do right.
Olashuga says, let's call a spade a spade. Imagine the cost implication on the part of the enrollee, life threat, insecurity in the country. All they need to do IPPIS is to go digital and technology-wise. This is 2023. Let's think like an educated country and act as such.
So we have a message here. It's a letter actually by the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria. And they're saying, be orderly. That's the title of the message. The National President of Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, ASCSN, Comrade Tommy Etim Okon, PhD, has enjoined civil servants undergoing physical verification exercise at the Public Service Institute in Abuja to conduct themselves maturely so that the exercise can be conducted in an orderly manner. And he also went ahead to plead with officers from the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation who are supervising the exercise to be circumspect and patient with the workers so that the exercise can be carried out seamlessly. Okay, so this is a letter addressing everybody, those in charge and those who are doing that. However, let us add our own small advice before we round up on this topic. Yes, shouldn't be the way it's done in 2023.
It should be the last year,
Exactly, this is a no-no. They can work with organizations that have our biometrics already. They can work with the banks, they can work with the NIN, if that is still, operational. They can work with those and get data, proper data. So nobody's stopping verification every year. It's normal, but it should be done in such a way that it's seamless. You can do it from your office. You don't have to travel all the way to a certain place to be able to do it. It doesn't mean that that's the only place that will probably have the machine for the verification. Biometrics can be taken anywhere, and then you continue on follow-up. So after doing it yearly, the problem is because there is no follow-up, I want to assume that's why they need to come back again and do it. But if there's follow-up,
they say people die as ghost staff and become ghost pensioners, so they are verifying.
So when people die, the banks don't go back to tell the...
It was scam from the beginning.
No, so if we know
that's
that
why the issues are just many.
Example,
verification is done every year. Please just don't have Nigerians traveling across the country in their large numbers to one place. You can have a few people go to different parts of the country to do this verification. They said you should please ask NNPC how they are doing it.
Yes. There's when they do it even in death.
Yes, and it shows up.
Says that I took my mom of 58 years who was recovering from stroke. On top says she's sick. We were attended to around 3 p.m. and we got there at 8 a.m. So like this is the reality and the painful reality of many civil servants who have served Nigeria with their life, and then they are made to suffer like this when they are trying to verify themselves to get their pension.
This ones are
even serving.
In service.
So let's just be humane in how we treat ourselves.
Okay, and then they are saying that they don't get transportation or accommodation,
packages.
Please, if you also... I hope it's the last year. You have to pay, yes, you have to pay for accommodation.
If they are required to travel, yes. But can they stop on the traveling? They can do this from wherever they are.
I don't want to get sense now. Make them.
That's all we can take on this topic. Thank you so much for your contributions, ladies. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we move on to our Let's Talk. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Generation Z, colloquially known as Zoomers, is the demographic cohort succeeding millennials and preceding Generation Alpha. And this set of people are known to sometimes be quite difficult to deal with. So joining us on the show now to enlighten us on how effectively to work with Gen Zs is a project management professional, a health and safety executive practitioner from the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health, United Kingdom. Also a certified KPI professional is with us in the house today. Welcome, Ayomuritala.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Yes, so thanks for coming on the show to talk about Gen Z. It's like a trending topic now. Everybody wants to understand how to deal with Gen Zs. Some of us are already raising Gen Zs. And there's always this constant struggle on how to understand where their minds are at every point in time, because they are quite different from us and they don't reason the way we do. And, it's the grace of God we're asking to be able to raise them properly so that they don't go outside and disgrace us. However, and disgrace themselves too. So welcome. Now, I want to start by asking, why are they so different from what we know and what we are used to?
The question is, are they?
I think they are.
Well, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe that's why it's not an issue to me. There's nobody in my workforce that is up to 30 years old as I speak to you, and that's about 25 of them. And I relate successfully with them because I think it's a mindset from the beginning. So for me, I never have the mindset that they are different. So I'm not seeing any major difference. I'm just seeing that I'm dealing with people. I'm relating with them. That's all.
Wow.
Okay, they are different.
Thank you, Nima.
what way?
Somebody's on my side.
Let me explain. Because you see, anything that is to give somebody confusion, I don't like it. Number one, their codes, their languages, you need to learn. You need to conform. When they are talking, you be like, they use some new terms. And then these days, mental health is a very emphatic issue with them.
For them.
First month, auntie, hurt me. I'm like, what did they do to
Small
you that
play.
they did not do before? There was a video that we discussed on this table where a young girl was corrected in a public bus in the UK. And the madam go and tell her that, behave yourself. Don't you have elders at home? She sent it back. It has to be a Gen Z. If it was one of us, would be like, oh, sorry, madam, we'll move away. We don't want this.
But
So they are wired. They are wired to
Differently.
speak up. They are, in fact, they are completely different.
But the
I am struggling presently to cope with one. I'm mentoring. Every single thing that I dare not imagine, she's doing it. I'm expecting everybody to understand.
So the truth of the matter is, I will still go back to the fact that it's a perception thing and it's a mindset thing. Okay. We were different from our parents.
Exactly.
That's where I was going.
We were different from our parents completely. And the way they live their life, we also rebelled against them, don't forget. And we expected them to understand us.
Yeah.
We wanted them to understand us. So why are we finding it hard
I wasn't a rebellious child.
to understand them?
You were not what?
Even as she was saying it,
She couldn't say it
to some extent.
That explains.
So so we need to then understand that now the table has turned. It's our turn to deal with them. If you remember the way our parents dealt with us, when they serve you food, for instance, and you say you're not eating, they won't give you another food. Today, I have a 6-year-old child that I need to always negotiate with every time because I want her to eat.
Mommy, I'm feeding. I'm feeding.
So we'll negotiate. If you finish this food,
You have this.
you have this. I mean, did anybody do that to us?
For what?
Exactly. So we need to understand that. Another thing I found out is that for the Gen Z, they have access to information more than we did during our time. So they ask questions. And I think it's the act of asking the questions that some of us don't want to take because we're used to being given orders. Instruction. And we must obey. But then they ask the question. And sometimes we want to challenge, why are you asking me the question? But these people are extremely productive. So I don't know what people see. Because even in our set, I've had people of my own generation. By the way, don't mind my gray, I'm not an old person. My gray
Are you in our generation?
Yeah, our generation.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm in our generation.
Your voice, I can tell from your voice, you're good. We know some people age early, but I think for me, I would like us to go back like from the beginning so that we can help decode these people. Gen Zs, are they just genetically that way, or did we raise them to be that way? And if it is our fault in raising them, then maybe in that we can decode what we need to do differently in, interacting with them.
Well, in terms of genetically, I may not be able to answer that because I never even liked biology while I was in school anyway. So that's scientific. I don't know if it's been scientifically proven to be like that. But in terms of raising, I want to go to that line. Like I said, one of the things that they have access to now on their phones and everything is part of raising. A 3-year-old child already knows how to operate a phone, can do more than you can do on a phone. So it's part of raising. I mean, we hardly had access to all these kind of things when we're growing up. So raising up could be seen to be part of it as to why they see things that way. And now they're exposed to different culture from different places beyond our own culture. So they can ask questions and challenge the status quo in itself. But I see the positive side of them.
That starts by 4 p.m.
Don't forget.
Bang, 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 bang.
And all those things that we used to watch start at 4 p.m.
So before you step in, your question, I just remembered, I'd seen a study that for every generation that's coming, there's a DNA upgrade. Science has found that. Okay. So is also part of what is making them different. So aside from the way we are raising them and all the gadgets they are exposed to, their DNA too is upgraded, is a bit different from what we have. So we just have to adjust on all the levels.
Well, that's, I mean, if that's proven, then we need to, we actually need to live with it. I think mostly for the Gen Z, they just want to be heard.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
I get that part. And because there must be something you're doing right. You know, it might be an unconscious competence thing that you have been able to manage a lot of Gen Z in your workplace without seeing the difference, while for other people, it's been a bit of a challenge to manage. So that's what we want to get, because people are struggling with managing Gen Zs in their place of work.
In their homes.
Even in their homes. So we have cases of where people feel like somebody spoke to me, and the way they spoke, it hurts me, and I can't function in that environment. And people, the Gen Z just wants to resign or wants to step out. Like, they are unwilling to. There's no, they're not as resilient as we are unable to deal with emotional situation. It overwhelms them. How do we, as employers of Gen Zs, understand where they're coming from and the fact that they're not as resilient as us, and how do we now relate with that person?
Okay, so I'll address it from two angles. Maybe my own background and also from what you said. Now, today, wanted to know that there are options when it comes to work. You can easily get options. During our old time, there are not so many options. We want job security, so we're ready to accommodate and take. Not because we didn't like it. Let's be realistic. We didn't like the way we were also spoken to and treated at the workplace. We didn't. We just didn't want to move.
But we need to earn money.
Exactly.
But we were responsible. I tried to leave home.
We accommodated it. We endured it. We didn't like it. That's the truth. So for them, they didn't like it. They will walk away.
They have options.
Now they have options.
I like that.
Maybe just hold their phone and become influencer.
Maybe we had options at that time. I don't know. Maybe
we didn't.
We didn't really have so many options, but they have options. So we were also not treated.
Are we not
very
creating
well.
options? Because as a parent now, I have a 10-year-old who, from 7, will refuse to eat what I make and make something else. But in my mom's house, that's a fact. Whatever my mother makes,
everybody eats.
If I like, let me not want to eat it. I can go hungry.
So that's what I'm saying.
So
you can
are we
see
not
that.
enabling them? Because I now see
That's how
we enabled them.
We created them.
Because if I had insisted like my mother insisted, she can fast.
But the point is, when they were insisting on us, we didn't like it as well. Don't forget. And in our mindset,
So we're now allowing our children the freedom we didn't have.
So no. So what we thought to ourselves was,
Not really.
what we thought to ourselves was, we didn't like the way probably we were treated. And we told ourselves we're not going to treat
Our children the
children
same
that
way. That's also.
So we then enabled it.
No.
Yes.
Okay, we
Let me
okay,
tell
go ahead.
you this one example that happened in my house. I will tell you, growing up as a child, they did not allow me to defend myself when adults are speaking. I was always told to shut up. So I knew that I was going to teach my children to defend themselves.
To speak up.
They are speaking up over my head. I cannot talk. They are talking. If I talk one, they talk 15. Do you understand? They are speaking up. And I'm like, hey! So this is what I thought. I thought I was giving them confidence that I lacked when I was growing up. So the other day I sat down, their grandma is around. I said, look at how grandma raised me. And look at how I'm raising you and what I decided to do. But now I'm thinking maybe grandma's
the wisdom
method was better. So she asked them, she said, so which method do you prefer? We prefer mommy's method. Oh, you prefer mommy's method? Then how do you appreciate mommy for this method that she has given you? You know, so I can tell you categorically that I have raised the talk.
But you know that the grandma today are extremely very soft now. So
they will spoil them,
than what you did.
So I have a daughter who was supposed to participate in a school stuff. So she's not shy, but she doesn't like to come out as much as her younger brother. So I encouraged her, go out, go and show your skills. This thing people are organizing, come out and do something. Everybody keeps, when they see the brother perform, they'll be asking, where is she? She's not doing that. I said she does, she's good, but she doesn't like to. So I encouraged her and we agreed. And she went. The second day she came back, Mommy, I'm not doing that dance again. I said, what happened? He said, the way they spoke to me, I don't like it. I just told them, I can't deal. Please, I have to go and study for my test. I can't deal. I can't deal with that. Mommy, no. Then I put me at the back. I didn't know what to do, whether to get upset, I just was lost. And I was telling myself, afterwards I called, I said, no, you need to, It's not every time they will talk to you the way you like.
Yeah.
But it's part of it. I said, do you know how many times I've been insulted in my job? But I just know that I have to keep, you keep building yourself. She didn't get what I was saying. She was like, no, I can't take disrespect. I'll just take a walk. And she took a walk and she did not participate. I felt so bad. I didn't know how to handle it. So in this case now, how will I handle it so that it doesn't happen next time? Because I know that she needs to be able to stay. She needs staying power because things will not always be the way she wants it.
So it might be a bit complex to handle in the sense that, one, we don't really know how that person spoke to her, which may actually be different from the way you have always been speaking to her. And she sees a very wide difference from the way you used to speak to her and the way you had created an understanding ground with her, all right, discussing things. Now, the person, whoever spoke with her, probably did not do it the same way. And she felt people can talk to you in such a way that you would hate yourself and you will feel, yes, a low self-esteem. So we don't really
You're not a Gen Z at heart.
Honestly.
Because you are so understanding of
So, bringing it back to the workplace again, a lot of Gen Zs rebel against structured workforce, Why do I have to resume at 8 a.m. in the morning? Why can't I resume at 10?
I can relate to that.
Yes, I would like to resume at 10. I would like to work from home. Or this
Remote
is
work.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, dress formal, and then somebody comes to work with a crop top on Monday morning.
Okay.
Crop top.
No, that one I can understand.
Okay, so let me explain that. Maybe you're right to say I'm Gen Z at heart.
We don't talk out.
I'm actually a performance management expert. So when I was into your previous
KPIs.
discussion, we talked about it. So I actually always go against status quo. I hate being confined
That's why it makes
and
sense.
having to work in this
one of them.
structure. So in the workplace, one, we just have an open resumption time. Make sure we resume at 9. We don't have, nobody writes attendance, nobody signs in, nobody signs
How
out.
do you grade productivity?
We don't, then because we're consulting firm, I don't like doing, if things have been done the same way, I mean, how do we do things differently? So one of the first things I did was to say that we're going to operate a structure without job description. Nobody has job description in my office, so it's a flexible work system.
So you're saying Gen Z cannot be a medical doctor now?
Hey.
Cannot be a nurse?
Because
Then you have to...
Most of them are even tech
because
engineers.
I'm afraid that as you are cutting me now, decide, oh, I don't feel like it right now.
Exactly.
I just
So
drop
how-
all the things and leave
So
me.
let me then
We'll come back to we'll come back to that response after this commercial break. Stay with us.
Hey.
All right.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. This Gen Z issue is not easy at all. But I asked the question.
Yes, you were trying to give us ideas about how to ensure productivity even with Gen Zs that are not really within the structured space, and you were giving yourself as an example.
Yes, so the structured system, all right, maybe because I understand performance, understand how performance are tracked. So one of the things we've had before now is that we measure people's performance by the way they dress, their punctuality at work, the way they speak to you. But all those things went down the drain during COVID when people had to work from home. So people had challenges about how do we track people's performance? I said, yeah, because that's always been the problem. Now that you don't see them, you now find it difficult. All I want to see, I don't want to see the way you look, the way anything, but the point is, are you doing the work?
I want to see results.
I want to see result, but they get the result done. Now, we have, I'm not a conformist when it comes to dressing. I choose the way I dress, and nobody makes me to dress the way they want me to dress. I don't wear tie, for instance. I don't even know how to knot a tie anyway. So one of the reasons why I never worked in a bank was because of tie. I don't want anybody to conform me into a particular box, that this is the way I should behave. So I chose a path.
Okay.
That was, so that's the same system we create.
Let me bring
You
this
know.
into family because, this is workplace. We can have some standards. Imagine my son, my mother-in-law asked him, get me something, and he just threw it at her. And he's a child, but even if you keep saying it, he sees this as, I didn't mean to insult, I gave it to her anyway, and we are there. That's how we're trying to get to the point. Last night I said to him, stop asking for the remote, you're not going to get it. And he said, but I'm not, I said, shut up. And shut up, we're defining it. Till daybreak, I have to apologize for saying shut up. How do we make these kids merge, this meeting point between them and that generation? Because we are keen on respect, we are keen on, standards, and they are so lost when you bring it into that box. You bring a lot of emotions inside.
Let me add also something, because I believe it's the same. How do we make them understand that by trying to correct them, we're not trying to stop them from growing? Do you understand? Let them understand it's come from a place of love and want the best for them.
Exactly. So coming from the place of love, I have a 13-year-old and I have a 6-year-old. So 2 girls, 2 beautiful girls, by the way. So, and I know when they want to show up the 13-year-old, but she doesn't show it. I sit her down and I have sometimes not a father to daughter, a friend to friend conversation. We have a chit chat. And she doesn't want to make me unhappy at all costs. I don't want this, I don't want it. And she won't do it. We had that understanding because sometimes it's not like there's where we learn it. Let me just put it that way. Maybe some of us sometimes we're just lucky.
So would you have to say?
So let me add.
What if it's an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old that has some rights and there's some things you're unable to do, insisting on to enforce?
In my house, there are no rights.
Well, so what do you do in that case?
Well, the kind of conversation I always have with them, I have my nephew staying with me, he's an 18-year-old. He will do it the way I want him to do it.
Because he's in your house.
Yes, I tell him to go and do this.
Is it the tone of language you use?
So please, I wanted to add something.
Sometimes.
So how do you do it?
No, hold on, Nima. It's not just about the tone. I want us to separate rudeness and disrespect, bad behavior, bad character from being Gen Z who wants to be heard.
Yeah.
They are 2 different things.
Exactly.
We have children who are spoiled.
Express yourself without being rude.
Exactly. We have children who are spoiled, who do things anyhow and is excused as is a Gen Z. No. We need to separate it. Then we have those who, because they are Gen Z, they will not take oppression, they will speak to you, and they will speak as same Gen Zs that are polite, even when they are telling you, and they will do their work, and they are not lazy. We have that. So, but that mix of, because you are Gen Z, you can talk to your boss anyhow, and talk to your parents anyhow, let's separate it.
Exactly. I think the point is we're seeing too much of negative side of Gen Z, and that's what I said all the time. The rudeness, the bad attitude is not about Gen Z. It exists in every generation.
Just bad character.
That character. It exists in every generation. It's not about being Gen Z. But we are just attaching it so much
To them.
See,
Giving it that.
like I said, I have a crop of Gen Z, as in nobody in my office space is 30. And these are, about just this week, last week, we had something that we needed to do, and these guys worked for 4 days. They were working into 1 a.m., 2 a.m. without complaints.
Imagine.
Because they're
So
doing what they want to do.
What they love.
Yeah, so I wanted to just quickly say something because in also helping employers understand, I had a conversation with one of my Gen Z staff and she didn't like, she said, one of the things she first said was, I don't like the idea of being labeled. She said they refer to me and they say, oh, because she's Gen Z, it's because she's Gen Z. She doesn't like the idea of you calling me out and say I'm a Gen Z and you are saying it in a negative way. Like I'm using it to connote something bad. So she said she didn't want that, and that's a lot of times when they say it, she just shuts down. So she can't contribute because you have labeled her and you have prejudged her, and she'll just be looking at you throughout the meeting, which was why I had that meeting with her. And we had to now discuss it in the office. And sometimes we're thinking that, oh, this person she's not contributing, she's not adding value. They have value, but you have boxed them and they will not do anything you want them to do because of what you have done. And another thing is what you said, which is in the productivity thing. Yeah, I didn't like the crop top matter, but I didn't see anything. I've learned that I don't react immediately because she's not my child. It's a workplace, and it is not a fine thing because the Gen Z worker can walk away from your job like that. They don't care about that 2 weeks or anything. If you give me a toxic feeling, I want my sanity, and they will step out. So as we need to understand how to live and work with them. You cannot shout, you can't be angry, you can't say that you had a bad day and you're bringing it to she will just leave you alone. And it's not rudeness, she'll just tell you, please, my sanity is too important for me. So we must learn to be a bit more patient like we are with our smaller children when we're dealing with.
So I think one of the things that also helped me working with them is that, so yesterday they said they wanted to do a reel on TikTok, something trending, and they came to call me that anytime they call me, I need to be part of it. I'm part of it.
So let me ask you this question. What is the right time to become a friend to your children? So I'm raising, to your young Gen Zs now. I'm raising Gen Zs already. And I'm constantly... they are even alphas. I'm constantly trying to separate when to be the mother and when to be the friend. Because from the friendship, they will now start taking advantage of some things. And I quickly have to wear my mother cap. I am your mother here. This is the law in this house. So how do we, for those people who are raising, people who are getting into the workspace, separate it so that they know that even in the workplace, you can be shouted at now.
There's a boss time. Yes. Okay. So it's not structured in any pattern in itself. I think instincts will tell you based on whatever is happening at that point in time. So sometimes you need to switch to the mother part immediately to snap some things, to take control in itself. If you are giving 3 steps and you want to take 6 steps, and you know that these 6 steps is going to be counterproductive. Sometimes you allow that because you see that, taking further steps is not going to have any negative effect. But by the time you see that this thing is going to have an effect, then you need to
cut it.
You need to switch. Not like I don't switch even as the boss in the office. Even Gen Z father, I mean, I switched on my daughter one day and I said, you're not going to sit on the TV, you're not going to watch TV for the next 2 days. Yes, I mean, until you do this and this and that. She cried, she did everything. I didn't even look at her. I just said what I said. I was just doing my thing. I didn't shout, I didn't do anything.
One more question. We're going.
Yes, I was going to say that in the workplace, as an employer, what would you say are the positives of having Gen Zs work for you? Because
they're highly productive and the level of creativity is very high. So it drives you. When you understand them, trust me, you get the best out of them. I mean, me working with those that are my own generation, it's a lot difficult because they're already molded. But for the Gen Z,
they're adaptable, they're flexible.
You get the best out of them. You understand them, you get results.
Thank you so much, ladies, for the show, the contributions. Thank you, Mr. Ayo. Moritala, please give me the right pronunciation.
Yes, that's it.
Moritala. Okay, I called it Moritala.
Anyone you call it is fine.
It's okay. All right.
Like that.
Thank you for your insights on the Gen Z topic. And that's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a lovely day.